I got some for some line of sight flight. What I'm flying right now is a 5-inch racing drone that I put in together about 3 weeks ago. And what I use for this build is the Iflight Morgoth X5. The motor are the new motor from T-Motor. They are the velox. Those are 2207.5, and they are 1950 kV motors. The velox are the budget brand of T-Motors. They come in two versions. One that costs $15.99 and another one that costs $12.99. This one is a $15.99 version. And the best I can tell is the only difference between the two are the color scheme. The prop I'm using on this build are the Gemfan 5149. I'm using a Iflight Sox S ESC 45 amp. Is a 30 by 30 ESCs. My flight controller is the Matic F722 Mini. It is a 20 by 20, but it does come with an adapter which allow you to go from 30 by 30 to the mini size. And my VTX is the Rush Tank Mini, of course. The camera is the Foxy Racer. It's a nano size camera. That's what it requires for this frame. It only takes nano size cam. But as you can see, I'm actually currently flying it on 4S, and it's 6S capable. And I have to say, on 6S, this thing is a bomb. It much, but it does fly great on 4S also. Flying great from the get-go, never had an issue with it. I'm currently using Betafly 4.1. I'm not running the RPM filter. I'm currently using PED stock, Betafly stock PED. I haven't changed anything. And it's flying great. No isolation, no vibration, flying very smooth. And prop watch are very minimal. This motor has plenty of torque even on 4S. I mean, I'm loving it. Let me go ahead and land and talk a little more about this frame.
Okay guys, let's go ahead and talk about this frame, the Morgoth X5 from Iflight. It is a malted carbon frame that you can get for 60 bucks, so it's a pretty good price. My first impression of this frame, I believe it is in the air, it feels much faster than my other 5-inch racing drone. Even though the other one has a bigger motor and a higher kV motor, this baby feels pretty fast. And the weight difference between the two of them is only about 20 grams. So I don't think it's the motor, I don't think it's the weight, I think it's mostly the frame. Because if you look at the frame itself, it's very aerodynamic. So I believe there is less drag on this one when I'm flying it. The quality of the frame is pretty good. I have nothing negative to say about it. Everything is pretty smooth. The carbon looks pretty nice and pretty shiny. The frame has two sections. The top section, which is the canopy, and the bottom section. It is a unibody frame, so you don't get to change your arms if you break it. If you break any of them. And as far as I can tell, I haven't seen where anybody's selling the bottom section of this frame. So at this time, If you break it, you're gonna have to pretty much replace it by buying another frame. The canopy has a couple opening, and I think that's mostly for aeration. You got some in the back. You got another gap on the side. The top gap here is to give you access to, sorry guys, someone doing something. That's what happens when you live in the county. The top gap here is to give you access to your USB ports, but you can see on mine I don't have access to it, and that'll bring me to my next point about this frame, is that you got to be very selective about the type of electronic you're using. For example, when I first put this frame together, I had a 30 by 30 stack all the way on top, ECS, flight controller, and VTX. And what happened, I was not able to put the canopy on because it didn't give me enough space. What I end up doing is I end up using a 30 by 30 ESC and a 20 by 20 flight controller and a VTX. And by the way, this frame does take 30 by 30 and 20 by 20 stack. So my best advice going to be, if you're planning on using it, just go ahead and get a 20 by 20 stack. That should be much easier. But you can see I don't have access to my USB ports. So in order to get access to it, I gotta pop the canopy off. And by the way, the canopy is put in place by 4 screws. They are 1.5 millimeter X screws, so they're pretty easy to find. Any screws that work on your camera should work on this one. I did pop one of my screw out. I just need to replace it. The arms are about 4 millimeter thick, and they do have the arms of the frame are about 4 millimeter thick, and they do have what I would call a span in the bottom. You can see the little extra section sticking out. Get my camera to focus here, and that of course should reinforce the arm also. And they do have the top part, which is also carbon fiber, and that's what protect your motor wires. As far as durability goes, the frame is I would say is no more durable or less durable than any frame on the market that use 4 millimeter arm thick. I did crash it a couple times, and I did manage to break the top portion of the arm. As you can see, I put some expo glue on it just to reinforce this section. I completely delaminated this section here, and did actually kind of made the arm a little flimsy. And also on this part here, let me move this. There we go. You can see where I also delaminated this section, but this section is not too bad. So overall durability is, to me, it's about the same as any other frame, even though it's a molten carbon frame. As you know, every crash is different. Some crash are worse than other, but I would expect the durability to be just like any other frame. The camera tilt on this build is pretty high actually. According to Iflight website, it's supposed to be 30 to 90 degrees. In my impression, it's more around 40 to 90 degrees. And as I said earlier, it does take nano camera. Overall, I enjoy this frame. It is a pretty good frame. But in my opinion, if you're going to put it together, just make sure you use a 20 by 20 stack. That should give you enough space. And you got to be kind of very limited on what type of ESR you're going to use. I'm using a pretty small one, even though it's a 35 volt ESR, but that's kind of you got to think about it. But overall, I like this frame. It flies pretty good. I'm enjoying it. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. And as usual, if you like it, please go ahead and subscribe. And people, don't forget to wash your hand, because nobody want to get COVID-19. Thank you, guys.